Hello students, welcome to the subject of complex variable and partial differential equation. Myself Dr. Ankit Acharya, and in this chapter complex number, now we will discuss about circular and hyperbolic function, totally new topic. As you all know that in last lecture we discussed about roots of complex number and we solved so many important examples. So this is our next topic, circular and hyperbolic function, and we will discuss about some important example related to this topic. So let's see. So circular and hyperbolic function, first of all some of the formula which I want to define. As you all know that if e raised to I theta, that is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta, okay, e raised to I theta, that can be written as cos theta plus I sin theta. So instead of theta I can replace z also. So e raised to iz, that can be written as cos z plus I sin z, okay. And similarly if I want to write e raised to minus iz, that is equal to cos z minus I sin z, okay. So now suppose this is my equation number 1, equation number 2, and suppose I add this to equation number 1 and equation number 2, then left hand side we get e raised to iz plus e raised to minus iz, and right hand side we get cos z plus cos z. So 2 cos z, because I sin z minus I sin z will be cancelled out. So finally we get e raised to iz plus e raised to minus iz, that is equal to 2 cos z, okay. And finally cos z can be written as e raised to iz plus e raised to minus iz divided by 2, okay. Now this is very important formula that you have to remember, that cos z, that is equal to e raised to iz minus e raised to iz plus e raised to minus iz divided by 2. Now suppose I subtract this to equation number 1 and equation number 2, 1 minus 2. So left hand side we get e raised to iz minus e raised to minus iz, and right hand side we get 2I sin z, okay, correct. So that means what? The sin z can be written as e raised to iz minus e raised to minus iz divided by 2I, okay. So now these two are circular function that we know, cos z and sin z, and this two formula that you have to remember, that the value of cos z, that is e raised to iz plus e raised to minus iz divided by 2, and the value of sin z, that is e raised to iz minus e raised to minus iz divided by 2I, okay. And now we discuss about hyperbolic function. Hyperbolic functions means sin hyperbolic z, that can be defined as e raised to z minus e raised to minus z divided by 2, and cos hyperbolic z, that can be defined as e raised to z plus e raised to minus z divided by 2, okay. So these two formula are for hyperbolic function, sin hyperbolic z and cos hyperbolic z, okay. So finally that you have to remember all this four formula, cos z, sin hyperbolic z and cos hyperbolic z, okay. And now let me discuss about relations between circular and hyperbolic function. So the next concept is, you can see that relation between circular and hyperbolic function. First formula is sin iz, that is equal to I sin hyperbolic z, and second is cos iz, that is equal to cos hyperbolic z, okay. Let's try to prove. First one is sin iz, okay. So we know that what is the formula for sin z? Sin z, that is equal to e raised to iz minus e raised to minus iz divided by 2I, okay, right. And now instead of z I want to write iz. See, left hand side I have sin iz. So sin iz, that can be written as e raised to, now instead of z we have iz, okay. So I into iz minus e raised to minus iz and divided by 2I, okay. So now you can see that this is e raised to I square z. We know that I square is minus 1. So that can be written as e raised to minus z minus e raised to z divided by 2i, okay, and we can multiply with I and divide it by I. So that's why this is exactly in denominator we have I square, so that is minus 1, okay, and this is I, so that can be written as e raised to z, okay, minus e raised to minus z divided by 2, and here we have I, okay, and now this is e raised to z minus e raised to minus z divided by 2, that is exactly sine hyperbolic z. So that's why I can write this equal to I sine hyperbolic z, okay. So we prove that the value of sine I z, that is equal to I sine hyperbolic z, okay, and the second one that is cos I z, okay. What is the formula for cos z? Cos z is nothing but e raised to I z plus e raised to minus I z divided by 2, okay. And if I want to find the value of cos I z, so now once again instead of z, that you have to take I z, so I into I z plus e raised to minus I into I z and divided by 2, okay. So that is equal to e raised to I square z, e raised to minus z, right, plus e raised to z divided by 2, and that is exactly cos hyperbolic z, because e raised to, we can write e raised to z plus e raised to minus z divided by 2, and that is equal to cos hyperbolic z. So we prove that sine I z, that is equal to I sine hyperbolic z, and cos I z, that is equal to cos hyperbolic z, okay. So this two formula important that you have to remember. Now next topic, separate real and imaginary part of sin z and cos z, okay. So first of all, let's try to find out the real and imaginary part of sin z. Now sin z means we can write sin x plus iy, okay. So now we know that sin alpha plus beta, that can be written as sin alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sin beta. So that's why I can write sin x, okay, sin x into cos iy, sin x into cos iy plus cos x into sin iy, okay. Sin alpha plus beta, that is sin alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sin beta. Now this equal to sin x cos iy, that is cos hyperbolic y, plus cos x sin iy, that can be written as I sin hyperbolic y, okay. So this is the real part, sin x cos hyperbolic y, and cos x sin hyperbolic y is imaginary part. So real part of sin z, that can be written as sin x cos hyperbolic y, and imaginary part of sin z, that is cos x sin hyperbolic y, okay. And similarly you can find out the real and imaginary part of cos z. Let's find out cos z. So that can be written as cos x plus iy, and we know that cos alpha plus beta, that can be written as cos alpha cos beta minus sin alpha sin beta. So that's why this is cos x cos iy minus sin x sin iy, okay, and cos x cos iy. So cos iy can be written as cos hyperbolic y minus sin x sin iy, that can be written as I sin hyperbolic y. So here we have I sin hyperbolic y. So real part of cos z, that is cos x cos hyperbolic y, okay, and imaginary part of cos z, that is minus sin x sin hyperbolic y. Clear? Now next topic, that separate real and imaginary part of sin hyperbolic z, okay. So we know that for formula for sin hyperbolic z, that is e raised to z minus e raised to minus z divided by 2, and instead of z we can write x plus iy. So that can be written as e raised to x plus iy, okay, minus e raised to minus x plus iy divided by 2, okay. So e raised to x, right, into e raised to iy, that can be written as cos y plus I sin y, and minus e raised to minus x cos y, okay, cos y minus I sin y divided by 2, right? So what is real part? Directly you can easily find out the real part. Real part of sine hyperbolic z, real part of sine hyperbolic z, that is equal to e raised to x cos y minus e raised to minus x cos y divided by 2, and imaginary part of sine hyperbolic z, okay, that is equal to the coefficient of I, that is imaginary part. So e raised to x sin y, e raised to x sin y plus e raised to minus x sin y divided by 2, okay. So you can easily find out real and imaginary part of sine hyperbolic z, and find out the real and imaginary part of cos hyperbolic z. That is homework for all the students. You can easily find out cos hyperbolic z means e raised to z plus e raised to minus z divided by 2. So here we have plus, and according to this you can easily find out the real and imaginary part of sin cos hyperbolic z, okay. Now next concept, expand cos hyperbolic z1 plus z2, okay. So cos hyperbolic z1 plus z2, now z1 plus z2, that is also one complex number. So instead of cos hyperbolic z, this is our formula, that cos iz, that is equal to cos hyperbolic z, okay, that we already proved. So instead of cos hyperbolic z, I can write cos iz. So here also instead of cos hyperbolic z1 plus z2, I can write cos I z1 plus z2, okay. Now multiply this I with this bracket. So we have cos I z1 plus I z2, okay, and that can be written as cos alpha plus beta, that is cos alpha cos beta minus sin alpha sin beta. So that's why cos I z1 cos I z2 minus sin I z1 sin I z2, okay, and that is equal to cos I z1, that means cos hyperbolic z1, cos I z2, that is cos hyperbolic z2, minus sin I z1, so that is I sin hyperbolic z1, okay, and sin I z2, that is I sin hyperbolic z2. So clearly you can see that this is I into I into I, that is I square is minus 1. So that's why cos hyperbolic z1 cos hyperbolic z2 plus okay, minus minus plus sin hyperbolic z1 into sin hyperbolic z2, okay. Now next, this example, which is very important exam point of view, okay, prove that tan inverse z, that is equal to I by 2 log I plus z upon I minus z. So let's start with tan inverse z. Let tan inverse z, that is equal to theta, okay. So tan inverse z is equal to theta, so we can write z is equal to tan theta, okay, and tan theta, that can be written as sin theta upon cos theta. And now we apply the formula for sin theta and cos theta. Sin theta, that can be written as e raised to I theta minus e raised to minus I theta divided by 2i, and cos theta, that can be written as e raised to I theta plus e raised to minus I theta divided by 2, okay. So now this 2 will be cancelled out, so we have only 1 upon I into e raised to I theta minus e raised to minus I theta upon e raised to I theta plus e raised to minus I theta, okay. So that is equal to 1 by I e raised to I theta minus e raised to minus I theta, in denominator we have e raised to I theta plus e raised to minus I theta, okay, and left hand side we have z, right. So z is equal to 1 upon I, and now we multiply with I and divide it by I, okay. So in denominator we have I square, right, and so that can be written as z is equal to I square is minus 1, so minus I e raised to I theta minus e raised to minus I theta upon e raised to I theta plus e raised to minus I theta, okay. So now we can write z upon I, that is equal to e raised to minus I theta minus e raised to I theta divided by e raised to I theta plus e raised to minus I theta. Now you can see that we want to prove that tan inverse z is equal to I by 2 log in bracket what is our term I plus z upon I minus z. Okay, so now we use componendo and dividendo. So left hand side we have I plus z upon I minus z, that is equal to right hand side we have e raised to I theta plus e raised to minus I theta, okay, and plus e raised to minus I theta minus e raised to I theta. Now in denominator we have e raised to I theta plus e raised to minus I theta minus e raised to minus I theta minus e raised to I theta. Okay, so you can see that on numerator we have this e raised to minus I theta, e raised to I theta minus e raised to I theta. So this two term will be cancelled out. Okay, and here e raised to minus I theta and minus e raised to minus I theta. So this two term will be cancelled out. Okay, on denominator. So finally we have I plus z. So just I write here. So I plus z upon I minus z, that can be written as now e raised to minus I theta plus e raised to minus I theta. So that is 2 e raised to minus I theta, and in denominator we have e raised to I theta minus minus plus, so 2 e raised to I theta. Okay, so this 2 will be cancelled out. So finally right hand side we have e raised to minus 2 I theta, and left hand side we have I plus z upon I minus z. Okay, and now taking log on both the side, so that's why we get left hand side we have log I plus z upon I minus z, right hand side we have minus 2I theta. Okay, and that's why let me write this step once again on the next page so you can easily understand. So log I plus z upon I minus z, and that is equal to minus 2I theta. So finally we have theta, that is equal to minus 1 upon 2I log I plus z upon I minus z, and now multiply with I and divide it by I. So that's why finally we have in denominator we have I square. Okay, I square is minus 1, here also I. So finally I by 2 log I plus z upon I minus z, and what is theta? Theta is nothing but tan inverse z. Okay, so in this lecture just we discuss about what is circular function, hyperbolic function, relation between circular and hyperbolic function. Also we discuss some important example related to this topic. Okay, so thank you.